Hello everybody, got Kitty Cat here. I'm heading over to visit with my son, spend the day with him. So I'm expecting to have a good day. Start the day with God, spend the day with God, and end the day with God. It's a fairly simple formula. I used to do a lot of math. You gotta solve for X. Well, X is God. We don't have to solve for it because He's going to only use numbers that work. I haven't taken Kitty in the car for a while, and he seems to be nervous today. He wandered around meowing, and he's sitting in my lap now, but for a while there he was wandering around. Okay. I wanted to talk about ways that we let Satan in. I say, I don't let Satan in. You're a sinner. We all let Satan in. Anytime you sin, you're letting Satan in. One of the best ways of letting Satan in is getting caught lying. Or not getting caught, but still lying. Who's the father of lies? Say, I don't lie. Everybody lies. How are you doing today? You come out and say, I'm completely miserable. I can't stand my life. I don't like where things are going. No, you go, oh, I'm doing fine. Couldn't be better. So that's a lie. God knows it's a lie. Satan knows it's a lie. And that opens up the door for him. Once he's got his foot in the door, he's a salesman. You know the old expression of having a salesman get his foot in the door? Okay, I had to do some traffic merging here. It's a bit of a drive. It takes about an hour to get to my son. None of it's... I can go on the freeway a little bit, but we're not there yet, just for the last section, but most of it is street driving. Driving in traffic. I've got the sun on me now. I just turned. So, you've got to figure out what the problem is. I know people who will lie about everything because they don't feel what they're doing is adequate. They don't feel that their life is adequate, so they lie. Or they make a mistake. Young people don't learn this until later on. If you make a mistake and then you lie about it, then you got to lie forever to cover that mistake. We're seeing what a government has been doing, who's been lying to us. All of them, everybody, top to bottom, from the president down. Now, towards the end, I don't know that Biden can be accused of lying because he didn't know where he was half the time, and they tell him what to say. So, cases like that, that's not lying, that's living in your fantasy world in your mind, I guess. But if you're willfully lying, you're part of the group that was kicked out of office. I was listening to the couple of things that they were doing to waste money. Basically, the rule was create something that sounds good to the people. Ask for money for it. And then spend the money on whatever you want. Once you got the money, just lie to them. Tell them, yeah, the project's going good. We're doing fine. Just lie. They've been doing that. They got, was it $2 billion to give everybody that needed it internet. Now, I didn't look at the date, so it might be that this is pre-inauguration of Trump, but because I think it was, because I remember seeing it a long time ago. After 3.5 years or 4 years, and that $2 billion to give everybody internet, not one person got internet. It was all, well, we got to do all this stuff. And they interviewed people that provided cabling and everything to do all this stuff. And they says, we don't want to touch this project. They've got so much DEI wrapped into this that we'd have to sell our souls to be able to work for this project. And we're not about to do that. So they couldn't get anybody to work with them. Because they put so many restrictions on it. You got to have so many gay people working for you. So many people who are Democrats or whatever the ruling was. Nobody wanted to do that. So they never laid any cable. There's a rail system. They tried to get a train to go from the Los Angeles area to Vegas. I think that was a $20 billion boondoggle. They just kept using the money to promote their progressive, DEI, liberal programs, but none of it was spent to put any rail in the ground. It's a lie. And we're seeing the results of it. Once you get caught lying, it's a matter of integrity now. It's a matter of you can't trust this person ever again until it takes a long time to bring back credibility. What you doing, kitty? I'm not going to pet you the whole way. I use two hands to drive. I'm a safe driver. All right, so we sow the seeds of whatever we're going to get. Part of the problem of the latest generation is they've had excuses for everything. There was no accountability. There was no accountability in the government. Why expect it from the current youngest generation coming up? And there will be a price to pay for that. We have a generation that doesn't know how to be honest, give an honest day's work, or just simply to work for anything. They want handouts. Well, the handouts have to come from someplace. I forget who said it, but someone said the problem with socialism and that kind of government is eventually you run out of other people's money. For all practical purposes, it's a pyramid scheme. If you at the top make it, everybody else down below gets progressively less. So we are eventually going to climb out of this hole that they dug to put us in. It's going to take time. I don't know if there's enough time before we leave to fix the problem. The minute we're gone, they'll have to go back to doing what they know how to do. And this is Satan running this. And he's good at it. And he doesn't take a whole lot of time to get things implemented the way he wants it. That sun is bright. Let me see if I can put my visor down. There we go. I'm on the longest stretch of road to get to my son. I'm cutting across. One of my subscribers invited me to breakfast, and I think that's an excellent idea. However, it would have been over 3 hours to get there, so I had to respectfully decline that. I am out in the middle of nowhere, which is too bad that we can't get everybody out that way. We'd all be better off. When this world goes to hell in a handbasket, those in the city will be most impacted. Those in the country, like our park ranger, he has a small spread on it. He's got property. They raise chickens. They do all kinds of stuff. They can survive. I was talking to him, telling him about a show that I watched a while back. James Burke did a British show called Connections. It's a really good series if you can find it. It's like 1970 vintage, but it still applies today. It's just dated. He said, what will happen if the grid goes down completely? Everything collapses. Would you survive? Would you know how to survive? If you can't go to the market and get food, what would you do? And he took the camera crew they went to a farm, and he went inside one of the barns, and he goes, do you know how to use this? And he showed a harness for hooking up probably a horse. First off, it was very rotted leather. It probably wouldn't work very well. But even if you could fix it, would you know how to use it? What's it used for? It's used so the horse can pull something. You can pull things with wheels on them, skids, or you can pull the plow. Do you know how to use any of that stuff? Okay, let's say you can figure out how to do a plow. There's modern equipment now, if you could get gas, that can do all that. What do you plant? When do you plant? Do you know any of that? Now you could have eggs. We know that you just get some chickens. But you're going to have male and female chickens. You need a rooster. You don't need a whole bunch of roosters. You need 1 or 2 roosters and a dozen or so chickens. And you can have eggs. Okay. What about bacon? Do you know anything about raising pigs? That's where bacon comes from. I think it's funny sometimes when they interview these people, the younger generation that doesn't know what's going on. Why are you against eating meat? I'm not against eating meat. I just don't think we should be killing these animals when we can just go to the store and buy it. See, they have no clue. And that's the problem that this progressive left has done. He's left us with a generation that has no clue. They've messed with the education system, and it was deliberate. I talk about this, and I guess you're going to have to get used to me saying it all the time. We spend more money than any country in the world per student. Yet we're 40th on the list of 40 countries. We're last. I'm sure this country is probably worse than us, but that's those that are run by dictators and they don't let people learn, because that's how they stay in control. That's how the early church stayed in control. They didn't let people learn. Our current pope is sick. I'm going to wander off a little bit. He just came out recently and started promoting gay stuff. And now he's sick. Is it related? I don't know. It's coincidental. You can't promote anti-God and expect to get away with it, especially if you're a religious leader. So they're going to be looking for a new pope. And maybe he won't be on his deathbed when they bring him in. We get somebody maybe in their 50s. It just seems like they only bring old guys in because these guys are the only ones that are willing to toe the line. We can't expose stuff. The Pope came out and said, you can't build a fence around the United States. That's not godly. There's a fence around the Vatican. Typical left progressive mentality. I can do it, but you can't. So hopefully we're going to get all this stuff settled here shortly with the government fixing things. But there's still fight back. Elon Musk did what he did at Twitter. Says, write down the 5 bullet items of what you do during the day. He did it at Twitter, and he fired 80% of the people. But all the individual departments now are coming back. The department heads are saying, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. The president's going to have to step in and say, yes, you are, or you're fired. So this is sensitive information. You don't have to release that information to the public. It can be reviewed by department heads that have the clearance to know what they're doing and what they're talking about. It wouldn't do any good to give me a list of what people are doing in the FBI because I don't know what their job requirements are. But somebody who does should review that. That's all that it requires. It doesn't have to be released to the public. And Elon Musk is not individually doing all this stuff, and he's not looking at all the information. And he doesn't have access to private information. So Trump's going to have to step in, and he's going to have to tell his department heads, find a way to comply. I don't care if you don't like the idea. I'm commander-in-chief. Do what you're told. If you're worried about security information, fine. Review it within proper security controls, and then give me a report. And if you got people that can't define what they're doing during the day, fire them. Of course, the media is going to jump all over this. They say that 21 people in the Doge camp quit. Well, it wasn't called that initially. I forget the acronym. Obama created the organization, and it had to do with looking at electronic stuff. So it's got something to do with the naming of that. The 21 people that quit were the original people that were there, and they don't like the direction it's going, so they quit. Of course, the media doesn't tell you that, because the media is still lying. We're seeing some of the big heads of the liars being fired, and The View is canceled and things like that. It's progress. These are cockroaches. They're just going to go into the woodwork. We get complacent again, and they're starting coming back to the top. I still think that the biggest boon that they're going to see is the rapture. When we're gone, there's not going to be anybody around to stop them. It's not the end of Christians, but it's the end of seasoned professional Christians, if you will. The new ones are not going to be able to fight back as well. All right, we're almost through with the main driving. Once I get across the railroad tracks that are ahead of me, then I'm there, but I've got everybody going slow over the railroad tracks. And we're going to do it too here in a little bit, and it's going to make noise. Thump, 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 thump. Okay, so this is just another one of my talking videos where we're really not looking at the Bible. I'm giving you headlines, I'm giving you advice. Of course, everything is based in the Bible, but I'm not giving you a verse. If you want to find out, look it up. I do enough studies, but I've come to the conclusion that if I put Jesus is great or anything to do with Jesus in the title, I don't get a lot of views. I get filtered. So I'm going to have to try to figure out ways that I can hide the basic theme of what I'm talking about. I try to put it in the title, but I guess I can't do that. If I put the word rapture in the title, I get more views. Because people are searching for that. All right, now we're on the other side now. I still got some more driving to do. I'm probably 10 minutes away. I'll be done with my video before I get there. I'll have to edit this today and get it uploaded for tomorrow. I've done videos where my son is, but it's still cold outside. It's cool. I've got my heater in the car, so I'm comfortable. Anyhow, things are still dangerous from the point of view of being Christians. They may not be killing Christians here, but they're certainly filtering Christians. They don't want Christians to move to the top and to have any advantage or gain anything. If they could have us all go away, they would do that. I have started uploading videos to Rumble, but the easy way of doing it, YouTube is blocking. YouTube right now is evil, just like Facebook was evil filtering, just like Twitter was evil filtering. So hopefully they're going to pay a price for this, and soon, so we can keep getting the message out. So I need your help in the meantime. If you like and share my videos, it helps to bypass the filtering a little bit, especially if you share the videos. And we have a European curse here. There we go. This is a road circle where you come up and you can get into these things and come out in another direction. And if one wasn't bad enough, here we are, we're entering a second one. This one's not finished yet. They still got the cones up. So there, right there, back to back, 2 circle drives on a main road. And people don't know how to drive them, that's the problem. They come up to them and they stop and they wait and there's nobody there. And then they look around, they look in both directions, because they yield for a reason. The yield means go if you can safely go. Not sit there and do nothing and try to figure it out. All right, I'm beginning to ramble, so let me wrap this up. If you do anything that's sinful, you open the door for Satan. The minute you realize you've done it, stop it. We have a sinful nature. We're all going to do this. Stop it. Ask for forgiveness, and then move on. It shouldn't take very long. Oops, sorry, God, I didn't realize I was doing that. Please forgive me. And move on. That's all it takes. You don't have to rip your clothes off, put on sackcloth and ashes, and crawl on the floor and beg. Jesus doesn't want us doing that. It takes too much time to do that, for one. And while you're doing that, you're not helping somebody. You're not even helping yourself. So, admit it, repent, confess it, and move on. It shouldn't take very long at all. Okay, we're almost this last few little bit of side roads here. A lot of Georgia is very rural. I'm on a 2-lane road. You can see, well, you can't see. I can see because I'm higher up. It's a 2-lane road with double yellow lines down the center. No passing. A lot of Georgia's like this. A lot of the route that I have to drive is like this. That's one of the reasons I'm so far away from everything. All right. So be safe. You know the rules. We're not perfect, just forgiven. Till we meet in the clouds. God bless.